This is an intro. Who needs an intro? I don't need an intro. This is just a vape show. It's just a vape show. Vape show. This is an intro. Who needs an intro? I don't need an intro. This is just a vape show. It's just a vape show. Vape show.
YouTube, what is up? I'm your homeboy Josh, back at you, and today we're taking a look at a few items from Youde. Unification of design. We're going to be taking a look at the Goblin V3 Mini. We're going to be taking a look at the Mesmer, which is basically like a Sub Ohm Tank version of the Goblin V3 Mini. And we're going to be taking a look at the Sifu B-Tab, the best build tab that I've ever come across. Sifu B-Tab is pretty awesome. And along the way, we're also going to use some of these new coils from Youde, which I can't put hands on right now, but they're around somewhere. It might be in a box, I'm not really sure. Anyway, did you say you're missing your alien coils? Seriously, dude? Can't hold on to anything. So we got a bunch of devices that we're looking at today. I think we're gonna start out looking at the Goblin Mini V3. Unification of design was responsible for the original Goblin. From what I remember, when the Goblin RTA came out, it was kind of like that device that sort of worked to redefine the RTA. It's kind of where 2016 got off and running as the year of the RTA, if you ask me. Nah, dude, that was the Billow. Before that, RTAs had more of a reputation for being more finicky sort of approach to vaping, something that was less popular than, say, RTAs and Sub Ohm Tanks. And I feel like the Goblin was where that perception really started to change. Are you sure? I'm pretty sure it was the Billow. The Goblin and the Billow, I think those two devices, one or the other, maybe both. Yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure that was the Billow, is where I really started to hear RTAs were back and they were gonna take over. And I didn't believe it at the time, but 2016 has definitely proven to be the year of the RTA, and here we are. But before we get into this review, I do want to take the time to remind you that we all have a part to play in the fight against Big Pharma, Big Tobacco, the FDA, and the deeming regulations that are looming over our heads. And that means that if you're on social media, paint the best possible image of the vape community that you can. If you're a shop or a shop owner, then remind your customers that they need to get in this fight if they want to keep vaping. And follow all of your calls to action, including those to support HR 2058 and the Cole Bishop Amendment, or whatever those bills become in 2017. We all have a part to play. So I think that we're gonna kick things off with the Goblin V3 Mini. The Goblin V3 Mini is said to have an advanced condensation-free system. So it's pretty much leak-proof, so they say. It has two 16mm decks. One is basically a velocity-style deck, and the other one is a velocity-style deck, but it's pushed back to one side, allowing you to only install coils on one side of the deck rather than both. The device is 22mm in diameter, 33mm in height without the drip tip and without the 510 connection at the bottom. It has a 2ml capacity, keeping it in alignment with the TPD restrictions. However, there is a 4ml extension tube that you can buy separately. It also supposedly has a juice feed control, but for the life of me, I haven't been able to adjust the juice feed control. Maybe I've put it back together wrong or something, I'm really not sure, but that thing doesn't seem to turn at all. Maybe it's built into the airflow control. I'm really not sure about that juice feed, man. I haven't seen the juice flow control work at all once. I don't know. Alongside the Goblin V3 Mini, when you open the box, you're going to find your alternate side deck, a spare tank, a Delrin drip tip, and some alternate O-rings, screws, and an Allen key. The tank breaks down so you get your drip tip, top cap, the tank itself, which houses your juice intake, the deck, and the base. Changing out the decks is super easy. You basically go ahead, remove the positive pin, and then the deck just pops off. That's all there is to it. Switching the decks around is just a matter of unscrewing the positive pin, popping the deck out. Yeah, there's no threads or screws or anything else involved to hold these things together. It really just sort of press fits. That's it, and just pops right out when you're ready to change them. It's a really nice system to swap those decks out. I dig that. One thing that's interesting about the way that they do this is that there's these two little keys. On the floor of the base, you'll find these two divots that are sort of sunken in there, which line up with these two protruding sort of pins on the bottom of the decks. And those kind of lock together as well when you're inserting the deck into the base. And that ensures that you always have the deck in alignment with the airflow and the juice feed, depending upon whether you're using the single coil deck or the dual coil deck. Both of these decks, being velocity style decks and with very ample post holes, have the capability of welcoming pretty much any build that you can throw at it, for the most part. But you're not really gonna wanna put absolutely anything in here. Though you can fit some quite chunky wire in here, the airflow system and the capability for juice to feed to those coils is gonna be somewhat lacking. I suppose you could stack coils one on top of the other with this, but I don't think you're gonna want to personally. And I gotta say, it's kind of a shame about exotic wires in this particular device because the alien coils that Youde has put out here, they raise the bar in terms of Chinese manufactured, machine manufactured style pre-built coils. They're among the better alien coils that I've seen that weren't handmade by, a coil smith. They're triple core 26 gauge with 32 gauge alien fused over it. I mean, as far as alien coils go, they're manufactured in China. Normally it's like flat wire, a single strand of flat wire with poorly wrapped 32 gauge. This is pretty good, I have to say. It's not 36 gauge and it's not tightly wrapped and it's not super clean, but they managed to do it with 3 strands of 26 gauge. That's something that I haven't seen out of China yet, so I'm impressed, and they have some great flavor on them. So my first thought was to go ahead, let's throw an alien coil in the single coil deck, and let's see how this goes. Since we're gonna be building this Goblin V3 Mini with the alien coils, I decided to go ahead and whip out the Sifu B-Tab to go along with it. The Sifu B-Tab has to be the best build tab that I've ever come across, hands down, to date. I mean, you compare this to other tabs, the Geek Vape tab, the Coil Master tab. They're plastic. Those things are just pure plastic is what they are. And this has some, plastic elements here and there, I suppose. What doesn't these days from China? But so much of it is just pure metal. Metal construction, metal body, metal workings. Everything here is clean and everything here is well put together. It's got serious weight to it. And not only is it a build tab, well, it's also a mod. It's a 70-watt box mod. This device is a build tab, a box mod. It has the ability to check your ohms externally for individual coils using alligator clips. There's an attachment you can buy that turns it into an automatic coil jig, and there's the promise of more add-ons, attachments for it down the line. I love the construction of it. I love the feel in the hand, the button. That's a really nice button, man. That's a nice button. And it's got nice wattage up and down buttons. It's a flexible device. It has temperature controls. It has, not that we really give a damn about temperature control, at least not around here, but it's nice that it's a full-featured mod. An ohm meter, it has the resistance, it's telling you the amperage that you're firing at. It's a full-featured build tab as well as a full-featured mod as well, if not being a little bit underpowered at 70 watts. But for a single 18650 battery, yeah, but I mean, a 70-watt mod it's a single 18650, that's pretty much the norm. You're not gonna see them going too far past 70 watts. Maybe you'll see one trying to reach for 80 watts, but that's about it. Most of them will stay around 60. So as far as single 18650 mods go, this one's pretty straight, pretty generous with the wattage, I would say, and accurate too. It's fine. Sifu B-Tab, if you ask me, is the best build tab that I've come across yet. Is it perfect? No, it's close. I really want something that's heavy, something I can put down on a table that isn't gonna move at all, unless I want it to. This is a mod. It functions as both a mod and a build tab, and it does a great job of that, while adding a little bit extra weight that I don't get out of, the Coil Master kit or the Geek Vape kit. This has that extra weight, it has that premium build quality to it, that metal body. I love this Sifu B-Tab over here, that's all textured like that. That looks awesome. I mean, it's well made. What I wanna see is a build tab that has dual 18650s or dual 26650s, that has, 2-3 times the weight of this, that can't be moved around, has variable wattage on up to say, a fake 200 watts. That would be great. If it's an accurate 200 watts, then even better, but if it has to be a fake 200 watts, then so be it. Fuck that, man. Go big or go home. Make it a DNA 200 with a 3S LiPo pack, or better yet, a 3S 2P LiPo pack. Give it enough power that can power the kinds of builds that I want to be able to put on my devices. You know what I'm saying? But for something that's functioning both as a mod and a build tab, I think they pretty much nailed it. The battery, you couldn't really put it there because of that. Make it wider, make it an uncomfortably wide mod. I'd be fine with that, I don't care. Make it uncomfortably wide, make it function with dual 18650s or dual 26650s. Go crazy, make a beast of a build tab. I know that you guys can do it because This is the best one that's ever been put together, if you ask me. To date, the best build tab that I've ever used. And that's counting the one I've used from Geek Vape and the 2 I've used from Coil Master. This is the best one. On the back, you know, the Asian characters, pretty cool. It's nothing I'm gonna get tattooed to my body anytime soon. It probably says basic bitch build or something, but it's still cool that it's there. So after rocking the Goblin V3 Mini in the single coil mode with the alien coils for about a week or so, you know, I decided that I wanted to try it out as a dual coil using the extension tube to make it into a 4 mil tank, because I noticed I had to fill this thing often when it was a 2 mil tank, when it was housing that alien coil. But I gotta tell you, juice to last you most of the day, because what I've noticed about this device, the Goblin V3 Mini, is that it's low powered. I find that I cannot turn up this device with this topper. I can't turn it past 35 watts or so. If I hit 40 watts, it's too much power to these sorts of coils. It's fine for a hit or two, but chain vaping it by the 4th or 5th pull, it's starting to go a little bit dry. It's because of the wicking, it's because of the airflow. There's not enough air to sufficiently cool down the coils. Just having the cotton just touch the bottom of the deck. Wicked them both a bunch of times, both in the alien configuration and in the dual coil straight wire wrap configuration. And no matter what I did, I can't turn it past 30-40 watts. You know, that's as far as I'm willing to go with it. And that's like somewhere between 3.3 and 3.8 volts is where I'm firing this coil. And it's like a 0.4 ohm build. I want to be able to turn a 0.4 ohm build up past 60, 70 watts is what I want to do with it. It's just not made for it, the Goblin V3 Mini. No, that was 60 watts. It's burnt. I mean, it's not burnt. I can still vape it. It's not like change my cotton immediately, but I can tell that that's just not right. It's not right, you know? Functions best in that 30 to 40 watt range, and it's the same thing when I have the alien coil in there. Same exact experience. I find myself wondering, the Goblin and Billow, I guess they set that bar at like a 40, 30, 50 watt vape maybe. I don't know, I never had any of them. The Billow or the Goblins, I never had any of them until now. I guess maybe they were the best around at that time, that they could do something like that, but I want an RTA that I can turn up like I can an RDA, and that's what the RTAs have become this year. All the other RTAs kind of came in and raised it up and up and up, and the Goblin, even at the V3, hasn't kept up with that. It hasn't raised its own bar and its airflow. It's kind of stuck with what worked with the Goblin V1. And this is not enough for me. It's not. I can't vape that way. It's great flavor. The vapor production just isn't what I want it to be. The heat isn't what I want it to be. It can't handle the kind of builds that I want to throw at it. See, there are two ways of creating a very flavorful vape, if you ask me. One way is to just restrict everything down to almost nothing and then squeeze as much, you know, vapor as you can out of that small space, and that's what the Goblin V3 I feel is doing. And the other way is to open it up wide and then create builds that can bring out that kind of flavor that you're looking for. And that's the way I like to vape. Nothing wrong with either one of those, you know. They both work. It's just personal preference. For a 30 watt vape, it's one of the best 30 watt vapes I've ever had. Okay, I'll tell you that. Is it something I want to vape all day? No. In testing this, I found myself carrying around several other devices each and every day because it just wasn't what I wanted on a daily basis. How about if you're not so into building, but you still want that same kind of experience? Well, that's where the Mesmer comes in. Hey, I'm still here. You forget about me? Shit. On and on about that damn box mod and the Goblin V3 Mini. Well, we still got the Mesmer, man. The Mesmer is pretty much a Sub Ohm Tank version of the Goblin V3 Mini for, I guess, anyone that doesn't really want to build. Out of the box, the Mesmer is going to come with a pre-installed coil. You're going to have a spare tank, a spare drip tip, an extra coil, a baggie of extra O-rings and whatnot, and this one metal-looking thimble, which I can't figure out for the life of me. I have no idea what this metal-looking thimble is for. I'm sorry, I tried my best. I give up. No idea what this thing does. It's anybody's guess, really. That same kind of experience. Well, that's where the Mesmer comes in. The Mesmer is a Sub Ohm Tank with the same airflow system as the Goblin V3 Mini. In terms of the coil head, it's a teeny tiny coil head. It's a standard single vertical coil with some spit back protection over the coil in the form of mesh. The airflow at the bottom is kind of dinky, honestly. There's not a whole lot of airflow here. I mean, it's already restricted even before you put it into the tank. All we have for juice flow are these two tiny holes on either side of the coil head. So there's not going to be very ample juice making its way to the coils here. All this really just tells you that it's a coil head that's made for low wattage. What I notice is that the flavor is definitely way better on the Goblin V3 Mini, if you ask me. It's definitely sort of a more muted experience in comparison to the Goblin V3, but it does have a very similar airflow system. It does have a similar look and feel to the Goblin V3 Mini. You can do straight to lung hits, but I'm getting different notes out of the two, and the Goblin V3, I'm getting like the full spectrum of the juice. The Mesmer, I'm getting a lot more of the low notes. I guess I'm just more used to the vape that I get from a rebuildable these days than the vape I get from a Sub Ohm Tank. I wish I could say that they were comparable. They're comparable in their airflow, I'd say. You know, the Goblin V3 Mini is a very tight draw, the Mesmer is a very tight draw, but I get a lot more flavor out of the Goblin V3 Mini than I do out of the Mesmer. So the big win for me here is the tab. The tab is awesome. I can see myself using the Sifu B-Tab over and over and over again. I can see myself building on this particular device more than I would the Coil Master tool, more than I would the tab from Geek Vape, just because it's more full featured. I have full wattage control on this versus the tab from Coil Master versus the tab from Geek Vape, which only allows me to just fire the device. I don't even have any control of the wattage with those devices. It's more well made. It's more premium materials, it's more weighty. I can use it as an actual mod as well as a desk mod, as a build mod. You know, it's a much better device. It's the best tab that I've ever built on as of yet. Like I said, it's not perfect. I still want to see someone come out with a tab that has dual 18650s or 26650s, that has real weight to it, you know, has the capability of firing super sub-ohm builds. That's what I want to see. I want to see someone come out with that, but this is definitely a step in the right direction. And if you want to continue to see products like these in the future that Youde has put out, well, remember, you got to support HR 2058 and the Cole Bishop Amendment, or whatever those bills become in 2017, because our first step in ensuring a future for vaping is ensuring that that predicate date gets changed and that we're able to continue business as usual. Anyway, guys, that's some latest gear from Youde. Till next time, I'm your homeboy Josh. Vape on, vapors.